In today's rider breakdown video from High Point, we're going to go over some crazy lines. Hypothetically speaking, of course, I'm just kidding. That is a pun on what happened last week. Moving forward, we're going to go over some of the top riders and also some of the exceptional mechanics for the weekend. Starting off, this was probably my favorite. Jumping out with the best of the rest is Jett Lawrence. Watch what he does on the bottom part of the track as he wheelies over and he ends up getting around AP. This is wicked. Look at this. This is why he was able to catch him and pass him going up the hill. Not only was it that scrub, but he was able to just keep his momentum up. So if we back up here, watch what he does. Normally this bottom section gets incredibly rutted, and it did later in Moto 2 because of the rain. But if we just slow this down, watch him as he just beautifully is wheeling over the lip. Boom, boom. And if rewind to the 250 class, this is Deegan out front in front of Thrasher, and he doesn't use his brakes at all. He lands on the outside, repositions his foot, kind of has that dorsiflexion up on that rear brake foot, and then just sits down, brop, and rolls around. And not just that, if we fast forward to the next section, he is jumping down the hill farther than anyone else, okay? So if you didn't catch that, here, we'll just rewind a little bit more. Watch how he jumps downhill over all the braking pumps. You have to have some balls to jump downhill over all the braking bumps. Look at that. Lands further, and then you have Thrasher who's landing in front of those big bumps. It's just these minor things that make these guys better than the rest, okay? Watch it again. Comes down here, just rop, jumps down, turns the braking bumps into a double. Jumps further down here as well. Continuing with the man that went 1-1 after the massive quad, the biggest jump on the track. Watch him as he just cuts this corner almost in half, and he hits some of the corner markers. Boom. You see that sucker just flapping in the wind here? And look at Asam. Here's this deep rut that normally is straight up and down, but he's leaned over, okay? And rear wheel comes out of the rut, and usually guys end up falling down because of this. But this to me looked on purpose because he's just accelerating and almost creating a new line here in itself. Boom, completely sideways, almost hitting the side of the track with his foot peg and his foot. Boom. That's called using the entire course. But what I thought was just crazy was how the braking bumps, because he's leaned over, pop him out of the rut, and he doesn't go down. He lands on the gas. And look at him. Look at him as he's using his lower elbow, and he's just weighting that outside peg, and he's accelerating, and he's keeping his balance. Amazing. And back to the Jett engine that doesn't use typical fuel. I believe he's on EcoBoost. This is after the start, the first major section of rollers coming down the hill. Watch what he does. He's going to use some braking bumps and turn them into doubles. Brop, beautifully done. Just so smooth. How does this guy make a rough track that's supposed to make everything hard, make you hold on tight, make you get arm pump, get you sideways, almost make you crash, and he's able to just turn it into a smooth rhythm section? Like, TV does not do it justice how big these holes and bumps are coming down here. Look at that, boom, and just doubles it, lands basically in a rut. Just that, just landing in a rut is wild to me. But then to be hauling ass coming downhill and to turn this stuff into doubles just shows you how far ahead this guy is as far as being a technician. And over the weekend, there's been a bunch of buzz about what was going on with the Honda. Why did he stall? Well, let me give you my theory, okay? Because this is a very fast section, and these motorcycles usually only stall when you're going super slow, okay? That's not something that Jett is used to doing. However, the way he rides a motorcycle is very high. He's in a big gear. So my theory is that this guy just comes around this corner in probably third, fourth gear, and he's just lugging around. And because he's lugging around and he's, you know, it's basically a 180, it's a fairly slower corner, which shouldn't be a problem if you're in second gear. But if you're in third or fourth, the bike's gonna go buh. And that's just like how he rides the bike. In his interviews, he's said multiple times that he doesn't like to hear his bike. Well, this is one of the downsides, is if you are in such a high gear rolling around, well, you do have the potential to kill it. What could you do? Turn the idle up for his mechanic? Maybe, right? But even then he's going to hear his motorcycle, and that's going to make the motorcycle run hotter, and we don't want that for these motorcycles as well. But there you have it. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. The algorithm loves when you hit that button. And if we back up just a bit, watch what he does when he gets around his brother Hunter here. It is a subtle preload across the start. You can see how his ankles are pushed down. He is driving. He is pushing that motorcycle to the floor. And look how he squats down. And he's going to soak up, but he's also going to preload off to just get over some of those acceleration bumps coming here. And he just keeps his speed up. But he's ready for the hit here. Whoop. He is just soaking up with his legs. Do you see him? He's in that attack position, and right before soak, and just lets it go. If he was in the full preload, well, then you'd see his legs come completely straight. More than anything, he was just soaking the bike up here with these bumps. Boom. Pushes down. Wah. And here, we'll watch Justin Cooper, and this is a big preload while standing up. Not seat bounce, but preload. First, make sure you can see that he is drive down. Here's that same squat body position. Okay, there's the setup. And watch what he does differently. He's leaning way back. Look at that, front wheel is off, and then he's going to straighten those legs to get the most amount of lift. Okay, so this motorcycle is pumping upwards. And this is so that he can get over these massive rollers and turn them into doubles, which is super impressive. But here, we'll slow that down again. And you can notice, I'm being repetitive so you can learn. He's pushing down with his heels. He's squatted himself down in that attack position. You can almost see his chin is almost below the crossbar. And it has pushed that front wheel up. Okay, so now all the weight is centered on the rear shock to get the spring. Boom. And then right at the lip, he extends his legs and goes straights. What we didn't see from Jett is he did the same setup here, right? There is that same setup. But then it's just a small little soak. Where Cooper is trying to get massive amount of lift possible off that bike. And Deegan, same section as what we showed before. But here he's just going to jump. You know, you can see he took out the corner markers. And here he is just going to jump off the ruts. And almost make it a double into a corner. Which, dude, how do you not wipe out? Okay, you must stay on the gas, and you got to counteract the weight of the motorcycle to keep it on two wheels. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And finally, got to give it up to Carlos. KTM learned after their mishap at round one. Look at this pit stop for the goggles. Okay, wipe his eyes, boom. And I really feel bad for AP because he is exceptional in the mud. He's going to race the Ironman GNCC, and I predict he's going to do fairly well. This dude is a massive, aggressive, and fantastic mud rider. And if the track race was not red flagged, you know he would have been able to potentially get back around some riders and finish on the podium there. And I feel for him. He had 7 minutes, did everything he could to excel, but unfortunately the rules were just that, and there was some lightning, and he wasn't able to finish the race. So this was kind of all for naught, but it shows fortitude and it shows good practice for changing these goggles, and he's saving his eyes. That's important. And it honestly shows everyone else that what are you going to lose? Maybe 5-ish seconds or so. So for that, I commend them. And finally, just small shout out to the video sponsor, Coach Rob Store, with his energy fuel. I love this stuff. I used this stuff at my Ironman this last weekend, and I used 2 servings because in each of my bottles I had 120 grams of carbs in there because I wanted to stay around 90 carbs per hour, and it took me 5 hours to finish the deal. This stuff was amazing. It tastes great and it's easy on your stomach. So make sure you go to coachrobstore.com, pick yourself up some energy fuel.